All right, hey everybody, just go ahead and mute yourself if you're not a speaker, which you're probably not. Is there a mute all button here, it's Troy, that I can take? You gotta.
Elmer Garcia looks like a speaker. I think he should be unmuted.
Yeah, he is. He could be a speaker. Elmer Garcia has a lot of good things to say.
Okay, everybody, I'm gonna need everybody to please mute your buttons. I will give everybody access when everybody's ready. I'm just joking, I'm sorry.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Troy, for that. I saw the button. Okay, we're just gonna take a minute or two while everybody's coming on, everybody. And then Hassan from Smart Alto is going to blow your mind about what's possible in the ISA world. And this is specifically text ISA. Is that correct, Hassan?
Yeah, so we do text message, text ISAs. Hey, go ahead and put in the chat. Let me know where you're from, specifically what city you're working in. Go ahead and put that in the chat if you can. I would love to get a sense. San Antonio, Houston, Charlotte, Parksville, Annapolis. Oh, guys, our Canadian friends. Virginia Beach, Bay Area, DC, Park City, Utah. It's beautiful in Park City. Dallas, Fort Worth, San Diego. I've always loved San Diego. I always wonder. So I live in Washington, D.C. now because my wife worked for the FBI in counterterrorism for 13 years.
Wow.
Until literally 6 weeks ago, she left and now she works at Microsoft. Her job was a lot cooler when she worked at the FBI.
Yeah, that sounds like a story I'd like to hear.
A lot cooler. LA, San Diego. But yeah, so it's spring here, but you would never know because it was like yesterday. It was so cold in DC.
Oh, it's not. You're not alone. I'm in here in BC, and I feel like I'm like, where's spring here yet? It's still raining. It's still cold.
Yeah.
I'm over this. I want the sunshine.
San Diego is great. So I spoke at NAR this past year and it was in San Diego. And every time I go there, it's just so fantastic that I always think, why the heck am I living in Washington, D.C. where it's cold?
Well, you have a choice. I have some friends and family in San Diego, so I can hook you up. It's one of my favorite places in the world too.
Mm-hmm.
Another place. Well, Troy, who's here right here on the camera, he's moved his entire family to Costa Rica.
Oh, wow. Really? Is that where you are now, Troy?
That is where I am.
I love it. I'm not shedding any tears for you, man. That's fantastic. That's great. Good for you. That's great. So let's go ahead and dive in.
Yes.
I think is Josh here? I don't see him. Did he leave?
He's on the phone. He's on the phone, and he's gonna be going from his phone to his computer as soon as he gets back into the office.
Okay, cool. So everyone do me a favor, because right now, by the way, here's the way I think about this. Let me kind of introduce myself, because you have no idea who I am, right? So my name is Hassan Riggs. I'm a former inside sales agent. I personally schedule over 10,000 real estate appointments. I'm a contributor for Forbes, so I write about real estate marketing, real estate technology trends, how to set appointments through text. I was speaker at NAR, as I mentioned. The National Association of Realtors invested in us a while ago. And I say all that not to impress you, but to impress upon you that you're in the right place. Because when it comes to real estate lead conversion, when it comes to prospecting, we're the leaders in that space. And I don't say that lightly. I work really hard to build a great company, but before then, I worked really hard at prospecting. And prospecting sucks. When I was much younger than I am now, I sold Cutco knives. Does anyone know? Have anyone ever heard of Cutco knives? Yeah. So I'm the guy who was knocking on your door selling Cutco knives, going door to door in Birmingham, Alabama, sitting across the kitchen table for mom and dad selling Cutco knives. And what I learned there is prospecting sucks. But I also learned that prospecting is the way to build wealth in this business. that the fortune is in the follow-up. That without good prospecting, you can have fantastic salespeople, people who know how to negotiate, people who know contracts, people who know the local market, people who are fantastic. They're just awesome. Their EQ is greater than their IQ. They know how to, they meet someone and you feel like they'll be friends for life. And they go broke. And the reason that they go broke isn't because they're not great at what they do, because they're great at maybe the sale, but they are at best not great at prospecting. And I don't care who you are or what you do, if you don't become really good at prospecting or have someone who's supporting you in that role, you're never going to maximize your potential. You will always be mediocre for who you want to be. I'm not comparing you to anyone else, because I don't believe you should pick in life. I just don't think you should compare yourself to other people. I'm talking about who you want to be. You're competing with not who someone else is, but who you are yesterday, right? Not who someone else is today, but who you were yesterday. That's who you're comparing yourself against. And so it all comes down to prospecting. And so today, what I'm going to share is a little bit about prospecting, what success looks like, how we do it at Smart Alto, answer any questions that you have. And if you have questions, go ahead and put them in the chat, because someone will take a look at those questions and probably read them to me. And if I can't, they don't, then I'll go through and look at those questions. Or you can just take yourself off mute or raise your hand, and we'll figure out some way to get your questions answered. Okay, so let's start at the beginning. Here's the way I think about this, right? We want to talk about 5 different things. That's it, only 5 things. We want to talk about your mindset, lead generation, lead follow-up, lead conversion, and a balanced life. And really, I'm not going to talk about all those things in the same level of in-depthness, right? I'm going to pick and choose what I want to talk about in each of those categories, but we're going to start with mindset. And mindset is so broad that oftentimes people get it wrong. Those categories. We're going to start with paper. If you've got a pen and paper, I want you to write this down. Ordinary things consistently done produce extraordinary results. 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 You don't have to pull a rabbit out of a hat every single day to build wealth in this business. You don't have to have a magic trick up your sleeve every day to build wealth, to make money in real estate. In any sales role, you don't have to do that. What you've got to do is ordinary things done consistently produce extraordinary results. I'll put some people on the spot here because I love doing this. And I'm going to ask you to be a good sport and give me some grace here. I want you to think about and put in the chat, what is something, where's somewhere where you are doing the right thing inconsistently? Where are you doing the right thing inconsistently? You know you're supposed to be doing this thing consistently, but you're not. Put that in a chat for me. Lead generation and follow-up. Time blocking. Brandon, good heart. Oh, you got a great last name. Take yourself off mute for me, buddy.
There you go. Thank you.
Let's talk. Let's have a conversation right quick. Where are you doing something that you know in your heart of hearts is the right thing, but you're doing it inconsistently? Tell me, let's talk.
I would say exercise, doing yoga and stretching every day. I know how it's good for the body, but I definitely don't do it enough.
Okay. Why is it important for you to do yoga and exercise?
Feel young, feel nimble and being able to move and just feel good in my own body. Yeah, like kind of Jeannie said there, strong body, strong mind.
Strong body, strong mind. Why is that important for you? Strong body, strong mind. Why is that important?
Because as you get older, things kind of start to, I just turned 30 recently. I'm noticing starting to just, which I'm still young, but noticing that as I get older, my body even now is still getting, if I don't do those exercise, I feel tight. And when I do the exercise and actually put the work into that, I feel a whole lot different. So I think it's important to stay fresh and youthful and as you get older.
Okay, great. So do you feel like there's a way that you can feel fresh and youthful as you get older without doing work, without doing the exercise and the yoga? Is there a way to do that?
Probably.
What's that
but
way?
I think, what's that say?
What's that way? How can you reach your goals of feeling younger and youthful as you get older without doing the exercise that you want and the yoga that you want? Is that possible? Because what I think is that if you believe that you can get to your goals in life without actually doing work, you're delusional. And I believe winners live in the life of reality. And then the second thing that we're going to talk about is what are the habits that you must build that consistently produce results? Because when we talk about sales, what we've got to talk about is habits, and practice doesn't make perfect. Practice makes not even progress all the time. What practice makes is habits. Oh my goodness, somebody just put in the compound effect. Oh, that's more you, Marcus. I was about to say, yes, great. Yes, atomic habits. Oh, I love it. Early to bed, early to rise. So this is like fantastic stuff, right? Because what we're talking about here, what we're getting down to this is, what are the habits that you have that consistently produce success? And that's in every part of your life. But when it comes to prospecting, that's something you got to think about. Ordinary things consistently done produce extraordinary results. Well, what are the habits that you've got? And when I say habits, I mean the things that you do consistently, the non-negotiable standards. One of the reasons I don't set goals in my life, and people say, what the hell, you don't set goals? I don't set goals. I set non-negotiable standards. Write that down. Because one of my things that I want to do really is I want to rid the word goals. I don't want anyone in our company to ever say that again. Because goals end up falling flat because oftentimes they become dreams because they don't have plans and habits that produce those goals. They don't have routines and habits that consistently produce success. Non-negotiable standards are the thing that you're going to do regardless of how you feel. Regardless of whether it's shining or drowsy outside, regardless of whether you feel great or you don't, regardless of what the situation or the circumstances are, you're actually going to do them every single day. The third thing I want to talk about is, and I'll do this with you, Brandon, because we just talked about, what your goal is, right? So you want to, all right, so let's talk about this. When I was trying to build a good habit, the first thing, because what we're talking about here, mindset, right? When I was trying to build a good habit, here's what I do. I've been doing this for years now. Take a gummy ball, and I take a jar. Every day, I do that thing, whatever it is I wanted to do, I'll put that gummy ball in the jar. My goal is what? To fill the freaking jar, to get as many gummy balls in that jar as possible. If I miss one day, what do I do?
Start over, empty the jar.
I empty the jar. And let me tell you, it's a freaking painful thing mentally to empty that jar. It's painful to empty that jar. When you do what you say you're going to do. You're making a promise to yourself. That's all it is. A non-negotiable standard is a promise to yourself. All you got to do is take that. Did someone just put in the road less stupid? Do you know, Sean, that is the best business. This is the best business book I've read in the last decade.
I know. It's so good. I've been telling people to read it.
This is so
It is
good.
awesome.
I love that book. Oh my goodness. So these non-negotiable standards, those are three things, right? So when we talk about habits, regardless of where you're going, now we're focusing this conversation primarily on prospecting, but you got to know there's not a single thing where you're going to get something for nothing. You've got to put in work. And if you're committed to actually doing work and being consistent with it, you're going to get results that other people just aren't going to get. That's number one, mindset. Jackie, I want you to think about this. I'm gonna give you a second, okay? Because in 5 minutes, I'm gonna call on you, all right? So I want you to think about this. I want you to put your favorite mindset quote in the chat, right? Something that got to do with mindset, right? Something that's got to do with mindset. I believe my basketball coach told me when I was young, he said, the reason I have to motivate you is because you're not a professional. Professionals don't need motivation. Professionals have discipline. Discipline trumps motivation every time. If you need a rah-rah speech before you go, inspiration is different than motivation. If you need someone to motivate you, you're not a professional in order for you to do your work. Okay, that's mindset, lead generation. So what are the 5 things? Mindset, lead generation, lead follow-up, lead conversion, balanced lifestyle. One thing I want to say about balanced lifestyle, I'll get there, maybe I'll get there. One thing I want to say about that is when you're first starting off in the business, thinking that you're going to have a balanced lifestyle and be successful is for the birds. You're likely not. You're going to have to put a lot of work in, and as time goes on, you'll be able to turn up and turn down as you need to. But sales is a math problem. So let's talk about lead generation. Let's talk about lead generation. How about, is it Raquel? Okay. So let's think about this for a second. If I shared with you, okay, you tell me, I'll give you a quote and you tell me, what percent of 22 to 30-year-olds who've been in their house for 2 to 3 years are going to sell within 12 months? Y'all put it in the chat. Tell me. So Bill said 40%, Adrian said 75%, 25%. The question again, put in the chat. What percent of 22 to 30-year-olds who have owned their house for 2 to 3 years will sell within the next 12 months? I haven't seen the right answer yet. 90%, 50%, 86%. You're very precise, Gene. Walker with the 66%. Gene said 0%. Okay, extremely low. 5% tops, said Mitch. Okay, all right. What percent of 56 to 65-year-olds who've been in their house 21 years or more will sell within the next 12 months. So what percent of 56 to 65-year-olds who've been in their house for 21 years or more will sell within the next 12 months? 5%, 60%, 50%, 25%, 30%, 25%, 60%, 33%, 57%. Okay. All right, cool. 57%. All right. I'm mentioning this because I want you to know your audience. One of the first goals of marketers, and by the way, you're a real estate sale, but you're a marketer. That's why you got StreetText, because you are a marketer, right? They're bringing all the technology that the big guys use and making it available to the average person so that you can understand the best practices. You can be an expert marketer. Important to understand that even when you're going out into the street and you're talking to people, whether you're at the grocery store or you're at your kid's baseball game, wherever you are, you know your audience. 45% of 22 to 30-year-olds who've been in their house 2 to 3 years are going to sell within the next 12 months. 45%. That's not my opinion. That data comes from the National Association of Realtors Generational Trends Report, which they publish every single year, which I buy every single year. And you should too. 25% of 56 to 65-year-olds who've been in their house 21 years or more will sell within the next 12 months. Why is that important? Why am I bringing that up? Why am I talking about that? Because you've got to know your audience. When you're out and you're about and you're talking to people, you're chatting with them, you understand who they are, it's going to help you know what? This is an opportunity for me. One of the big mistakes that people make, I heard it on one of our coaching calls not long ago. I met this 22-year-old. They've got a house. They just moved in. They ain't selling. How do you know? They just automatically dismissed the opportunity. That's a mistake. You know your audience. You're able to identify opportunities. That's offline. Now let's talk about online. Online, there's this small thing called the Fair Housing Act, which means that type of targeting, age, based on gender, age, is discriminatory. Can't do that. But you've got a great lead generation source where you're pulling in buyers and sellers. And I want to get a sense of what percent of buyers and sellers are you bringing in, Jackie? Buyers versus sellers. Jackie Dirth. I pronounced your last name correctly? Okay, tell me, what percentage of buyers and sellers are you bringing in?
I work with more sellers than buyers. I would say sellers is probably 90 to 95% of my business right now.
Okay.
And the rest is buyers. And
Okay.
it's usually, I work with the buyer because they're selling.
Okay, my goodness, I love you. I really
Thank
do.
you, I love you too.
I really do. That's fantastic that you just said that, because most people will I'm a listing agent. And that's great. Be a listing agent. But don't forget that what percent of buyers also have a home to sell? Does anyone know? Anthony, what's going on, buddy? How are you? Boomers are aging in place. Millennials are buying 30-year-olds. Gen Z starting to buy 20%. Oh my goodness. 33%, 51%, 33%. What percent of buyers have a home to sell? 45%. I've actually already seen the correct answer. Our friend Kimberly Bean is a reader, a researcher, knows the market. Kimberly, I don't see you, but I know you're out there because you just posted in the chat. That's the right answer. And it's so precise, I know that she had to read it somewhere. That's right. 51% of buyers actually have a home to sell. So when you're talking to that buyer, don't forget that's a listing opportunity there. That's a listing opportunity. So here's what I want you to think about. Here's what I want you to think about. In this business, we are great at using sellers' listings to get buyers. We're great at that. We're awful at using buyers to get sellers. So what me and a couple of our customers do is we test a bunch, right? We test a bunch. And in a low inventory market, we started trying to find listings when there are none. So when we talk about lead generation, finding listings where there are none, you've got 10 buyers. What's their buy box? People who have signed buyer's agreements with you, or people in your CRM who you know they're looking to buy, but they just haven't found anything. What are the property characteristics that they want? Jot those down. What are the property characteristics that they want? What are their points of interest they want to be close to? The school, they got to be in this school district, whatever. 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 3,200 square feet, whatever. You've got their buy box. You've got 10 people who've signed buyer's agreements or very basic, or at least in your CRM, and you know what they're searching for. You take those people and you go to homeowners, off market, whether it's LinkedIn, Facebook DM, text message, you reach out, email, you reach out to those homeowners. We've been doing it through text because I obviously run the texting system. We do it through text, and we ask them ultimately a very simple question. I've got 10 buyers looking to buy a 3-bedroom, 2-bath with 3,200 square feet in your neighborhood. Would you be interested in selling if you got the right offer? Some people say yes. Some people say no. The people who say yes, what did you just do? You just got a listing. And guess what? Here's the beautiful thing about it. It doesn't matter if your buyers like the property. That's irrelevant. It's actually irrelevant. It doesn't matter. Because regardless, you know you've got someone who would sell if they got the right offer. Jackie, put in the chat that mindset quote.
I put it in there. Let me find it and I'll repost it.
Okay, because I did not see it. Thank you. And Marcus, how do you want to do questions? Because my friend Adrian has had her hand up.
Yes, that'd be the best way. Questions we do in our mastermind is you raise your hand, and then we just go in order of those hands being raised. So Adrian would be first up on this question.
Sure. Do you want to do them now? Or do you want to
San, thank you. Thank you for your presentation. It's been very interesting. Regarding the stats, I was okay with the NAR numbers of last year until yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
When we have significant, the Fed increases the rates, which we all know, or I hope we all know, has nothing to do with the mortgage interest rates, et cetera, et cetera. It sort of signals that there will be a lot more buyers getting off the fence. Do you agree with that?
I do. I actually do. I think that here's the bigger thing, and I truly believe this. What I believe is that over the past 3 years, really, we've seen an influx in the number of agents who've come into the business. Now, we all know through data and statistics that most of those people are going to wash out. We know that. What happens is that some of the best folks in their space, in their local market, they always get their unfair share of business. Other people don't get their unfair share. They get their fair share or a little bit less than that. Every time we see a market change or a market correction, the people who were not getting their unfair share are disproportionately hurt. What we're going to talk about next is how to get off the real estate roller coaster and practically guarantee that your business is always stable, regardless of whether the market goes up or down or sideways.
Okay.
Because we always know our numbers, which leads me to, Jackie, what's your quote? And then I'm going to move on.
The day you plant the seed is not the day you eat the fruit.
I love it. Seed time and harvest. Seed time and harvest. Who believes that? Can I get a show of hands? Who believes that? So who knows what the 30-day rule is? Did we talk about this already? I don't think so. 30-day rule. Okay. So this is quite literally I learned this my first 30 days in sales. I was 16 years old selling Cutco knives. My first 30 days. The guy told me the 30-day rule, and he said, listen, the prospecting that you do today, you can eat off of in 90 days. What you do today, you'll eat off in 90 days. What you do today, you'll get the fruit of in 90 days. What you do today will benefit you practically in your bank account in 90 days. What you do today, there's a future benefit. If I miss a single day of prospecting, you will feel that in 90 days. If you miss a week of prospecting, you'll feel it in your paycheck in 90 days. If you miss a month of prospecting, you can ruin your entire quarter. Ordinary things consistently done produce extraordinary results. All right, follow-up. So let's talk about follow-up, because I've made, this is ultimately the business that I'm in. How to get the best response rates. Remember that your first goal with a brand new inbound lead is not to set an appointment. That's not your first goal. Your first goal is not to set an appointment. Your first goal is to start a conversation. If you don't start a conversation with people, nothing else matters. If you don't start a conversation with people, you can't qualify them, you can't filter them, you can't get them to your lender, you can't set an appointment, you can't show homes, you can't make money. This is a relationship business. And I don't know another way to build a relationship with somebody without having a conversation with them. If you find a better way, you tell me. I don't know a way. This isn't Amazon where people are buying online or e-commerce. This is not that. We're not in that business. We ain't in that business. We're in the relationship business. And the best way to start a relationship with someone is to have a conversation with them. So your first goal is to start a conversation. And in fact, if you're marketing, the goal and the purpose of marketing is to move people through deeper phases of the conversation, deeper phases of the relationship. And the way you do that, move people from a stranger to you to doing deals with you, is through conversation. The purpose of marketing is to move people through deeper phases of the customer relationship. The way you move people through deeper phases of the customer relationship is through having conversations with them. So the first goal is to start a conversation. That's the first goal. You want to start a conversation. Always remember that. The more conversations you start with qualified prospects, the luckier you get. Have it ever seemed like, man, I can't believe this person's always getting so lucky. This deal just fell in their lap. Oh my goodness, how is it happening? Conversations. They're talking to people, to qualified prospects. All right. Speaking of qualified, you qualify based upon your opportunity. You qualify based upon your opportunity. Does anyone know what that means? Does anyone not know what it means? Qualify based upon your opportunity. Qualify based upon your opportunity. Okay, let me explain this. Qualify based upon your opportunity. When you are brand new in the business, you ain't got any opportunities. You don't have opportunities. So you're out here trying to generate opportunities. So you're talking to, everybody you can. Every Tom, Dick, and Harry, you're lifting up rocks. You're talking to anyone that you can because you're trying to generate opportunities for yourself because you know that the qualified conversations you have today will benefit you in 90 days, okay? So if you're brand new in the business, I don't want to hear you talking about, oh, this is a bad lead. No, man. You are following up and trying to convert the leads that come in. When you're closing, if you're an individual agent, you're closing 50 deals a year, 75 deals a year, which we've got folks at Smart Alto who are closing 50, 75 deals a year. We got teams who are closing 300, 500 deals a year. The more you move up, you've got more opportunities. You're making money. Well, now you can qualify because you've got more opportunities. Now you can start saying, well, I want to talk to this person and not them. This person, I'll pass off to someone else. I want to move up market. If they're not doing if they're in my market, a luxury house at 700K, if they're not looking to buy $700,000 or so, I'm not going to talk to them because they're just not worth my time investment. When you are brand new to the business, you don't qualify like that. You qualify based upon your opportunity. What you need more than anything else is momentum. And you know what stops momentum is when you put friction in the process. You know what qualification is? Friction. So you remove the friction. As you move up market and you start making more money, you qualify based on that. So to pivot back, if you want to start a conversation with someone, then you need to make it easy for them to respond to you. So the very first question that you ask people is important. I'm going to give you the magic question, the question that gets the best response rate from anything else that we've done. And by the way, just to qualify me a bit on this, we send tens of millions of text messages every single year. And we split tests. So we know what starts the most conversations. And by the way, when I say a conversation, that doesn't mean everyone is like, oh my goodness, I want to talk to you, Mitch. Some people are like, screw you. I didn't click on your ad. I made a mistake. Who are you? Forget you. Get out of here. Blah, 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 right? People do all that type of stuff. That happens. But now you know what you don't want, what you don't need is silence. Because silence, you don't know what to do with that person, right? So that's why you got to start the conversation. So here's the text message that we send to folks that gets the highest response rate. Anything else that we've tested, and we test a lot. Hi, Jamie. This is Alex, the real estate coordinator for Lisa King. I noticed you clicked our Facebook ad for homes for sale in your area. I just have a quick question. How many bedrooms are you looking for? How many bedrooms are you looking for? That's what we call a frictionless question. And it's a frictionless question because what does every single person know when they're looking for a house? They may not even know the area they want to live in. But let's just say they do, right? They may not know the area. Oftentimes they're like, oh, we could live here, or we could live there, or we could live. But let's just say they know the area. If someone lives in Dallas, in order for them to tell you the area in Dallas they want to live in, they've got to type in a lot of words. DALLAS. And Dallas is so big, it's likely going to be maybe Irving or something, like something, a little community. But when someone is telling you how many bedrooms they're looking for, all they got to do is type in the number of bedrooms and hit enter or send. They got to press 2 buttons. That's it. And what have you done? You've started a conversation. And what did we say our goal was? Let me put on my glasses. Maybe if I look more distinguished, you'll believe me more. What did we say our goal was? To start a conversation. Now the person has responded to you. What do you know? You know it's a real human. You know they're interested. And now you've got a conversation with someone. Now you can continue the conversation using a process that we call banter. Right? Process that we call banter. And I'm going to put this in the chat. That's a blog post that talks about banter. I'm not going to go through everything today, but just know banter is a process that I developed when I was an inside sales agent. It's a way that we qualify leads without making them feel qualified, right? Way that we qualify leads without making them feel qualified. You've heard the saying that no one wants to be sold, but everyone wants to be helped. Well, no one wants to feel like they're being qualified, but everyone wants to be helped. So banter stands for budget, authority, needs, wants, expectations, timeline, area, and relationship. Relationship with an agent, relationship with a lender. If they don't have a relationship with a lender, they haven't been pre-approved. If they've already got a relationship with an agent, a signed buyer's agreement, you can't help them anyway. So banter, the way to qualify those people. Just note that the way you ask the question is just as important as what you asked. So we never ask people, what's your budget? Because people don't respond to that nearly as well as they do. What price range of homes are you looking in? What price range of homes are you looking in? The way you ask the question matters. What you say to people and how you say it matters, okay? So I got a whole training on just banter. Don't have time to go into it today. That's the high level, that's the bluff, the bottom line up front that can get you there, okay? So a couple quick things. You got to respond to leads how fast in order for them to maximize the likelihood they respond to you. How fast do you need to respond to them? What's your speed to lead need to be like? What does the speed to lead need to be? How fast do you need to respond to them? Put that in the chat. Tell me, you tell me. Five minutes, 3 minutes, 90 seconds, 15 minutes, 5 seconds, 4 minutes and 23 seconds. Automatically. Okay, all right, so here's the thing, immediately. All right, so what the data shows is that your likelihood of connecting with a prospect drastically decreases after 5 minutes. Drastically decreases after 5 minutes. What we also know is that when people say the faster you get there, the more likely you are, that's true to a certain point. When a lead comes in and you respond to them within 1 second, a millisecond, what are they going to think? That's exactly right, Bill. They're going to think it's a bot. They're going to think it's a robot. They're going to think it's an auto dialer. And do people want to talk to humans? They want to talk to robots. Are we in the relationship business with humans, robots, right? So that's something that we've tested. What we found is that, yes, there is a such thing as being too fast. You're too fast, you actually have the unintended consequence of folks saying, I'm not going to respond. That's a robot. And they don't respond. So 30 seconds, 45 seconds is a good sweet spot. If you're doing this through text, that 2 to 3 minutes is a sweet spot. You're doing it through text. Anything longer than that, you start to have a drop off. So that's speed to lead. You want to optimize for being human. Here are 4 magic words that we put in text messages. Yes, a real person. When we put this yes, a real person in the text message, we get a 15% increase in response rate. A 15% bump in response rate when we put that message in there. Because people want to talk to people, and you need to optimize for people. You need to optimize for being human. So I know that Josh is on the call. Josh, where you at, buddy?
Right here, my man.
Okay, there he is. What's going on, man? Great to chat with you.
Yeah.
How you been? You looking clean?
Couldn't be better. I got a fresh haircut, a fresh shave. I'm feeling good.
I see. So talk to me a little bit about your overall experience with Smart Alto and our follow-up processes and some of the things that I've been talking about. What have you experienced?
Well, wow. What an open-ended question. Here's my favorite thing with Smart Alto. This is my favorite thing. When I have 4 children, and most of my weekends are spent just like my wife and I have to figure out the logistics for every weekend, who's going where and when and what. And while we're doing all of that, almost every weekend, I get notifications from Smart Alto. Oh, someone's on your calendar for Monday, 9 a.m. Someone's on your calendar for Monday, 10 a.m. Someone's on your calendar for Monday, 2:30. And so the fact that I don't have to do that work, I can spend time and energy doing the things that that I would prefer to be doing, especially on a weekend or in the evenings. And yet Smart Alto is hard at work creating those conversations and then turning those conversations into actual appointments on my calendar. It's worth its weight in gold, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So how many appointments have we set for you? Do you know?
I looked at it yesterday. It's almost 200. It's
Okay.
almost 200 since I think August.
Okay. So it's 200 appointments since August. That's a lot of conversations with people. Second conversations, third conversations, and you're getting all these leads that are coming in. One of the things that I share with folks is for a brand new lead who does not know you at all, I'll pick on you, Jackie, because I had you earlier. You look like you really know your market. You're in Austin, right? So you know your market. It's a hot market down there. A lot of California is buying up real estate. So it's you know your market well. But your best asset is not your beautiful face. It's not your real estate knowledge. To someone who does not know you, it's not your brand. They don't know your brand. They don't know that you know real estate. They don't know that you're the best listing agent in Austin. Your best asset is your availability. They've got a question, they've got a problem, they need a solution to it, and you've got to be there. The same way LeBron James may be a good basketball player may be great, but if he's hurt, he can't help his team. He's not available. The best asset is your availability. One of the things that we do at Smart Alto is make sure you're always available. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Weekdays, holidays, vacation days, it doesn't matter what day and it doesn't matter what you're doing. Showing homes, going on listing appointments, reviewing contracts, we're always there to make sure that you can get as many qualified opportunities as possible. Because the more conversations that you have, the more money you make. Because once you realize this is a math problem, the real estate is a math, but sales is a math problem, having the right conversation with the right message, with the right people, the right number of times, to the right channel to get the right outcome, the right message, the right person, the right number of times, you're going to get through the right channel, you're going to get the right outcome. All right. So Josh, you've been with, I guess you started in August. So, or at least
I think it was, yeah.
And you learned about us through,
through our buddy Jacob, who is part of my sales organization.
Jacob, okay, great. So you learned about us through Jacob. And Jacob has been with us, I know, for 4 years, at least, and having really good success. And so the reason I bring that up is because, and this is an important lesson for everyone. What your customers say about you is 1,000 times more impactful and more influential than what you say about you, even if what you say about you is more accurate. Isn't that crazy? What your customers say about you is 1,000 times more impactful and more influential than what you say about you, even if what you say about you is more accurate. So what does that mean? It means that when you're thinking about getting reviews, one of the best strategies for getting reviews is understanding that you don't actually have had to close a deal with that person for them to review you, for them to review your knowledge, for them to review your expertise. You could be working with someone and responsive to them, and they could review you on that. Think about the major objections that you will get from someone and have your reviews or your testimonials geared towards those things. Because someone's always going to find some type of hesitation. And if you've got a bunch of reviews that directly combat that hesitation, you'll ultimately win, right? So thank you, Josh. I appreciate you kind of saying that and speaking up. And we've got 4 minutes left. And I want to pass it back over to Marcus to just, close it out, say a couple of words, or I can answer questions. Or
yeah, well, I think Beverly, everybody's wondering, how do I get a hold of Smart Alto and start the service? Where would they go to get more information?
Oh, great. Okay, so that's a good question. I'm going to go and put this link in the chat right now. So if you go to if you click on this link, if you click on that link, and then you go there, somebody from our team will be able to sit down and chat with you about Smart Alto and how we work, how we do what we do when we do it. I host a fast start class every Tuesday and Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's for all of our new customers. I host training for customers every Wednesday from 12 to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. These are short 15-minute calls. They're most of the time one-to-one. They're not strategic, they're extremely tactical. And we talk about some tactical thing that you're trying to accomplish. And I gotta say, you either gonna love me or you're gonna hate me, because I'm gonna hold you accountable.
I love it. Hey, Hassan, tell us real quickly, give us the 30-second elevator pitch. What does Smart Alto specifically do?
So we have real estate inside sales agents who qualify and follow up with your leads to help you get a return on investment on your marketing. So our inside sales agents are based from Utah to the UK. They work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year to prospect and help you follow up with your leads so that you actually get a return on time and monetary investment in your business. We are a conversational sales platform. We're the place within your technology stack where your conversations with new leads happen. We started this talking about opportunities. In Smart Alto is where the opportunities live. And our job is to, with you, move those leads all the way down to opportunities so that you can ultimately make more money. Because when you talk to more qualified prospects on the phone, you make more money. And when you don't talk to qualified prospects on the phone, you don't. And you can be absolutely brilliant at understanding your local market, great at negotiating, and still go broke in this business because it is very unforgiving.
Thank you so much, man. This has been. How many of you have gotten something from this today? Put a little, yeah, raise your hand, a little thumbs up in the chat feature. We are excited. Well, can we have you back?
Sure.
Yeah.
I would love to. I think you got a great community here.
Yes, and so there's the link to learn more. We'll post it in the StreetText Insider community as well. This will be recorded for you because I know I'll probably go back and watch it and take more notes.
So I have a question for someone. I'm going to pick on James Hayden. James, you said that you got something from it. What did you get specifically? Enlighten us for a bit.
Did I get specifically? Not being able to follow up with all your leads. You guys are there to take all the grunt work out of following up with all your leads.
Mm-hmm. That's cool. Wendy, what did you get from the presentation today?
Same thing. I'm really good at generating leads. I'm really good at closing deals and getting offers accepted and negotiating and getting my seller's top dollar, but follow up is just not in it for me. So it would be amazing to have someone to do it.
Well, for Wendy too, I would say your best asset is your availability, and Wendy, you're always busy, so you need more availability. And so
Yes.
That's what I really thought was the biggest takeaway for people that just need more time.
Mm-hmm. Biggest asset is your availability. Okay, cool, great, that's good. I'm glad that folks showed up and showed out and asked great questions and were engaging. I appreciate you, James, Wendy, and Brandon, and Josh, and Jackie, and a couple other folks who I called on. Thanks for being good sports. I appreciate it. It's always good to pick on people on these calls. And one of the things that I love the quote that Jackie gave actually, because I believe in seed time and harvest, and that was so eloquently put. Call it a proverb.
I love it. And we want to thank Josh too, because without Josh, we wouldn't have gotten together. So Josh, it's because of you, my friend. Thank you.
That's always great. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate it a bunch.
Hassan, quick question for you. We got a few people asking, are you available in Canada?
Yes. Yep. Yes, I am.
Awesome.
We are.
Hey Hassan, it's Gia. You did great.
Oh, hey Gia, how are you doing? Thank you. I appreciate
Good.
it. Thank you.
Hassan, I have a quick question. Can you tell us a little bit about your pricing and also a little bit about what the person who's answering the phone, how many times will they speak to somebody before it gets passed over to us? And how does is there a spreadsheet that you get every week? How is the communication?
So great question, Nina. We
Thanks.
actually have a texting only platform. And when you log into Smart Alto, you're able to see all the conversations, what we said, when we said it, how we said it, in order to move the conversation along and qualify the lead for you, whether we're disqualifying that person because you are only doing sellers, right?
Okay.
And you're only doing sellers and buyers, and that person said they're a renter, or you picking on Jackie, work in Austin, Texas, and that person is looking to buy in Palo Alto, California, right? So regardless of what the situation is, we'll qualify that lead, and you will be able to see how we did it and when we did it, so that ultimately we can get to that 15-minute phone appointment. And that's an important point too, because we set 15-minute phone appointments for you, which means that you have to integrate your calendar with Smart Alto, which means that we don't know what you're doing when you're doing it, but we do know when you're available, and so that we can book an appointment for you. One of the biggest complaints that we get is when agents don't call the appointment at the appointment time. And so we put the appointment on your calendar. We've ultimately made a promise on your behalf that you're going to call that person at that appointment time, and then you are responsible for doing it. And we've got reminders to remind you of that stuff, but people get busy from time to time.
So you make the qualifying appointment, then you set an appointment directly with us using our calendar?
It's directly on your calendar. Yes. So if you can't, for example, if you cannot take here's the litmus test. You ask yourself, can you take a 15-minute phone call?
Yes.
And if you cannot, then you block your calendar. So let's say you're going to pick up a friend from the airport and your friend hates that you're on the phone when you're with them. You can't take a 15-minute call. So block your calendar. Right. But if you can take a 15-minute call, then leave your calendar open. And our inside sales agents, who are normally 19 to 24 years old, they will take a look at your calendar and they'll book an appointment for you. Right.
And then is the lead handed over to us?
It's on your calendar. So yes. So so we'll notify you about everything. We'll notify you through text message, through email, set the appointment on your calendar. Everyone knows that the appointment is happening at 3 o'clock on Tuesday with Nina, at 1 o'clock on Friday with Nina. Everyone knows what's happening. You will know, the leader know, and we'll know. And so if you miss that call, they respond to us because they haven't talked to you.
Sure.
They say, hey, Nina was supposed to call me at 3 o'clock today, but and then we have to reschedule. And so once you get onboarded with Smart Alto, you have a fast start class, and we walk you through exactly how the system works, answer all of your questions. I host that class every Tuesday and Thursday at 1 p.m. And then you also have a personal onboarding with someone on our team who answers your question and walks you through things.
Okay, thank you.
Marcus, help me out. I don't know who is next.
I got Dimitri and then Hilaire.
Hi, Hassan. Thanks for a great presentation. Here's my question.
Sure.
So when you are texting, and I'm just going to take a guess here, you are probably texting it from the numbers which are provisioned on your system. So they're going to appear to the prospect as coming from somebody new, somebody else. So the question is, how do you manage the issue of being recognized, branding issue with a different number? Do your rep say something like, hey, I'm a assistant, whatever, for so-and-so real estate agent? So could you address those branding issues with different phone numbers?
That's a great question, Dimitri. I lost your picture, but great question. So we never pretend to be you. We always are upfront and we say, we are the real estate coordinator for Dimitri, the personal assistant for Dimitri, the inside sales agent for Dimitri. So from the very beginning, we're Alex, the personal assistant, the real estate coordinator for Dimitri. And so we do that for a couple of reasons. One, well, we don't want to pretend to be you. If they ask us questions that only you will know, that'll put us in a bad spot, right? Two, from a branding purpose, now your team is just expanded and we are an extension of your team. And so we can always, they respond to us, we can always comment to them and then say, let me check Dimitri's calendar. And then we can book the appointment directly on your calendar. Because we'll know enough information about you. We'll know when you're available. We'll know your website. We'll know the areas that you work. We'll know all those types of things. And any other additional notes that you want the inside sales agent to know, we've got that stuff locked up. Thank you for the question, Dimitri.
Blair.
Hi. I'm wondering, are you doing different leads or are you working with the StreetText leads?
You can get leads from anywhere, including StreetText. So let's say you've got StreetText and you've also got YouTube seller ads going, right? Or Google listing service ads going, Google LSA, you've got those things going. Leads that come through, as long as they can get into your CRM or we can connect directly to your lead source, they can come into Smart Alto. And we can,
okay.
And we can qualify them and change what we say to the lead based upon the lead source.
Okay. So then you, how does that work? Do you need access to my accounts or?
Yeah. So let's say, what CRM do you have?
Right now I don't have one. I'm trying to figure out which one I'm going to go with.
Okay. So regardless of the CRM that you pick, we can get the leads from, that CRM into Smart Alto, whether it's LionDesk or Real Geeks or Sierra Interactive Chime, whatever. We can get the leads from that place into Smart Alto. We can connect directly to StreetText through Zapier to get the leads into Smart Alto. And so your leads, they go from Facebook into StreetText, and then we can zap them over to Smart Alto like that. And it's all set up for you easily. Our team does that for you. So you won't have to worry about how do I get this to connect to that using this thing.
Okay.
Do they know why the lead came in? Like if it was on a property or if it's a seller, or, I mean, do they look into seeing, like, we can kind of see, exactly what ads they came from, why they're coming in. Do they look at that too?
So we can know some of that stuff that gets sent over to us through the Zap. It just depends on the attribute fields that StreetText will share with us. So we'll know if it's a buyer or seller, or their property address, or all that type of stuff. And likely we will even know the name of the ad. We won't know what the ad looks like, but we'll know the name of the ad. And if there's a different conversation that we need to have with people based upon that ad, then we can do that. Yeah.
And only new leads, right?
For our customers, we can work leads in their existing database too. They have to tell us that, and that's like an added benefit. We normally don't mention that out loud. Probably shouldn't even say it. Isn't this going to be like posted places?
I have 11,000 leads in my database.
11,000 leads in your database. Do they all have phone numbers?
Probably about 9,000, maybe 8,000 of them. Yeah.
8,000 have phone numbers, and then there are certain of them which, we normally
probably landlines.
10-15% may be bad numbers.
Yep.
So we can work through all that type of stuff with you, James.
All right,
Awesome. Hey, thank you so much you're about 12 minutes over, so we appreciate you. We thank you. For everybody who wants that demo, there's the link. We'll post it one more time, the Smart Alto, get a demo link, and we will definitely be having Hassan back. This will be recorded. And we thank you so much. Thank you so much. What an amazing presentation. I mean, you didn't even have to share your screen. It was just you the whole time. We were all very grateful.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. It's a great community, and I look forward to coming back and chatting with you all. All right.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.